Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is episode 17 of One Shot at a Monster.
Too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic redemption. Now I'm waking to pain to shaking.
All right, welcome back. I am Josh. I am your dungeon master, destroyer of villages.
I am Dean playing Sir Adric of Windmere, the medium hammer.
I'm John. I'm playing Dr. Merrick Hoffman.
God damn it.
This is Jake playing Avery Colburn, blower of horns.
Just horns?
This is Matt playing Keeler Ulson, the bone sniffer.
The bone stroker. Okay. Last week we spent our final time with the villagers, the warriors of Udvar on your travels. Upon your departure, Puali gave you all gifts blessed by the tribes, created by the shamans, and you made your way on to the wreckage of the village of Veindietz. You were able to find some remnants or evidence of the attacks of Arcturlgrim, few remains of the villagers that were here in a completely destroyed Veindietz. John found signs of the passage of this mighty beast, some 15 feet across. Keeler found in the bones of one of his victims, and took with him something that might help him feel the presence of Arcturlgrim. And you spent the night. The watches were going according to plan until the following watches were not woken after Hoffman took his turn. You woke in the morning with alert and found Hoffman in the depression of the passage of Arcturlgrim, this kind of low, not burrowed, but crushed earth. And you found Hoffman bent over, his hands scraped, bloody, mindlessly digging in the stone. And that's where we are.
Hoffman, what are you doing? Don't disturb him. Wait. This can help us. I'm going to kneel down next to him, and I just kind of whisper to him, do you want to return to Arcturlgrim?
John Hoffman, you feel an echo in your mind, in Hoffman's mind. You have a moment of confusion. John, I'll tell you as a player, there's a connection Hoffman has. And you sense it's almost, have you ever half woken from a dream and felt like you could fall back asleep really quick and you could get back into it, and every once in a while that actually works?
Yeah.
It's kind of there, except on the other side of the dream is an entity. You feel that you could use this connection to learn more, but that might work both ways. So that's what I'll tell you as you hear this echo of a companion's voice.
Hoffman, he stopped, like his hand stops. He goes, what did you ask me?
Do you wish to go to him?
To who? No. He stands up.
You ache. Your whole body aches. Your hands, you suddenly feel pain. You look down, they're bloody.
What?
You don't remember anything. You remember falling asleep last night.
What time is it? What? Look over at the sun, peeking out over the water.
It's pre-dawn.
We've determined this.
Fuck you.
I go get something to wrap his hands with.
Okay.
What? Oh, I must have been sleepwalking or something.
I say, come sit down, doctor.
I stand as they sort of move off, and I just look out at that water.
I say, tell Tell us everything you remember before it fades like a dream.
Do I remember any of
Everything I described in that vision, that's all you remember, almost an indeterminate but long amount of time spent in that place.
looking at that crystal?
Yep.
I remember being in this place with a Tathazine, but not like, well, maybe not Tathazine. A crystal of a different color, longing for it, staring at it.
Well, were you yourself, or were you...
I could feel the fire. I was him. Hoffman kind of half shrugs.
He longs for a crystal?
Something different than that. He has it. It brings him comfort.
He already has it. He doesn't long for it. It's what he holds on to. This may have been what the elder race gave to him. Powers, or what gives him some of his powers, or perhaps it is a relic of his past. He is intelligent. He may long for the days when he was this mighty creature at the behest of his creators, of his people.
Perhaps this crystal is what keeps him alive, keeps it cold.
Whatever it was,
Did you feel anything coming from it?
Cold.
Hoffman, did you say he longs for the days of his past?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Adric's relating to Arcturlgrim
Yeah.
suddenly.
sounds like kind of a cool guy.
When he seemed younger and more relevant, perhaps. Tell me more. And is he accepting new members, perhaps? If I could just stab him right there, boom. Arcturlgrim sends his regards. This could indicate that he hasn't reached his full power.
Yes, this crystal, it definitely is what is sustaining him, at least stopping him from destroying himself. Is cold. That's all I remember.
Stopping him from destroying himself.
Well, we know that the power within him, this fire, if it is able to be at its full potential, if it is not quenched by the ice of the north or even the powers of the elder, it will destroy him.
Much like the shield kept the volcano at bay.
Indeed.
This crystal must keep him alive, but it would seem that he can't take it out of its place. Perhaps it is a part of the mountain itself. So it seems clear either way we go to the place that is the coldest.
Again,
Big exhale from Adric.
I was wondering how his zealots find him. His connection to you, it isn't that clear. He couldn't give directions. How do they know where to bring this treasure? And then it occurred to me, we already have the answer. We know we must find the place that is the coldest. You have it. I tap you on the chest, Doctor. The mark. We need to find that peak. You have the brand that we took off of the zealots.
Did you go back and listen to the earlier episodes?
how could you have this? Possess this knowledge?
What is this podcast you speak of? Speak quickly, Avery.
Yes. Simple. A map branded on every member of your society so they know where to go.
If it desires possessions, how else would it tell its members where to bring such things? Keeler, could this be a distinct peak?
The brand is, it's a clear shape, but as far as like a map marker, there's not much detail to it.
No, looks more hand carved, rough than a specific place.
Then it's meant to be symbolic,
Yes.
but still symbolic of a place, of a real place. Perhaps a vision that they saw, that they tried to interpret.
Hoffman, did you indicate he can't move this power source?
I don't know.
That was my assumption.
Ah.
If he could, why would he need the shield?
Do I remember?
You don't. You could always try to
Remember.
connect again.
I think I don't know. He like stammers and closes his eyes. No, I'm not sure.
Can I roll insight?
Sure. Go ahead.
Kind of get an idea of what he's struggling with. I rolled a 27.
Okay. He's not lying to you, but you don't think he's being fully forthcoming. You sense some I don't know, conflict maybe, John?
Yeah.
What now then? Do we just travel north and hope to find him? Into the cold, onto the ice, without any real direction? There must be something more we can do. There must be some clues, either here or something we've overlooked.
I think maybe with Dr. Hoffman and, well, this bone, maybe we can divine the direction.
Perhaps if we get close enough, we'll be able to find them, or find him, find the lair. This mark, it may not be a specific marker on a map, but like Trekulin, it may show us a mountain range or a mountain itself that matches.
Whatever we do, we must do it fast, because remember, if we take too long, we sentence the crew of that ship to death.
Indeed.
Well, then we must head northeast along the path that the Arcturlgrim took.
I'll gather what I can from the town. Perhaps just some wood for a fire. It's going to get colder.
All right. Are you guys going to take back to the water?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You gather what you can, which isn't much. Perhaps Keeler could hunt some game.
Yeah, I help him.
Yeah, I would have.
Like,
I
do
probably
something
would have
like that.
spent some time foraging to get some food and scraps and.
Okay. Maybe you set some traps overnight. You go around and recover them. Set some lines for fish. So you get what you can. Cut some of the heavier, thicker vine wood, and load back up in your canoe. You drag the canoe. Actually, it's quicker to actually drag it through the village across to the other side of this island, or at least that corner of the island. And as you drag it, you stop for a moment, catching your breath collectively, and realize you're dragging it through the passage of Arcturlgrim, and this craft you're about to set foot in is barely longer than this beast is wide. That's in your minds as you take back to the sea.
Great.
You and John, you are exhausted. You essentially did not
Didn't get any
sleep at
sleep.
all last night. So you have one level of exhaustion, but
I ignore the first one.
wisely, you have braced yourself for this between expecting the normal dangers of the North, now something a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that essentially you sort of meditate on this process, John, as Hoffman sits quietly in the boat. You think, you're not sure, but you think maybe something of what Keeler said, the bone, obviously where you found yourself, where you awoken, it's something that's tied to him, tied to Arcturlgrim. And maybe you could enter this state again, but
With a focus like that.
with a focus, knowing that there's more you can learn, But remember, that could go both ways. So you travel north. It's 2 days in open seas with no sight of land, which is a long stretch for this area, and a long stretch for your craft. The second day, it's not stormy, but even the swells, 6-8 foot swells, this sea canoe just riding up and down, unpleasant to say the least. Rest is difficult, but on the second day, you do sight land, and throughout that day, more and more ice. As the sun gets low and you see more land and ice ahead, who has the highest perception? Maybe I'm
I have
gonna
a +5.
give it to Adric for this one. Always looking to the flanks. Dean, Adric spots something far to the west. Can see it because for a moment it's almost silhouetted by the setting sun, and you think it's sails.
And I think it's sails.
Yes.
I say, look to port.
Yeah. Nice.
I point. Do you see it there? Looks like sails.
Everybody, give me a perception check.
Including I.
Sure.
23.
23.
All right. 23.
18.
11 from the perception guy.
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons.
John, you spot 3 distinct sails, and you think they're heading away. Matt, you are pretty confident that these are longships, raiding longships. Even from the distance, the cut of the sail is pretty distinct.
Over there. Yes, I see them. They look like there's 3 of them, maybe. I think they're sailing away from us. I
What?
can't be sure.
Yes, raiding ships.
Heading away from us?
That's what I think.
We follow?
Yes.
No. If they're heading away, then this means that perhaps our plan worked. Would it make sense? Would they
They're
be
heading to
heading in the
Bransoon.
direction of Bransoon?
Sure.
I actually asked Keeler, would they be headed towards Bransoon?
Basically, one of 2 ways, from your understanding, Matt, would be west and then south, or kind of as you guys are coming, more from the south. But yes, they're definitely heading towards civilized lands, as far as the tribes go, populated.
Maybe not Bransoon, but that way, yes?
Well, Doctor, take out your map.
He unfolds it.
Keeler, 3 raiding ships. How many men is that?
Long ships, maybe 40, 60, if full.
Our ship had 40 on it, yes?
Indeed.
If you raid, you usually take more.
But, where are we on this map? I look at the map, but I don't really know.
It's a pretty rough map.
Yeah.
And not all the details are filled in. But essentially the layout of these islands, there's 2 main ways you could get back towards Bransoon and the other villages. And one would be that way. They're heading west, kind of maybe southwest. If you had been quicker in this area, they probably passed right through where you are. In a way, it's probably more direct to Bransoon. When you look at it on the map, you guys pushed east and north to Veindietz when Poali and the other from Udvar had stopped and were getting ready to head a little bit to their north.
I think it's tough. This is not as accurate as I would like. I think we are here, and if they are there, he kind of points on the map, draws like a line with his finger.
I take out a dagger and I put it on the map and I say, use this. Show us where their boat is. Where is it pointing?
I think it is pointing this way to the west, southwest. He kind of looks out over to those masts. And if they're headed to Bransoon, they will soon break south. past that Veindietz island. Otherwise, if they were headed to Bransoon from the northeast, they would head straight south into the waters and then west. Either way, it does look like they're headed that direction. I mean, they could be going to any island to the southwest, not just Bransoon, but
Then I think we need to go where they came from.
it may be difficult to track. They're a bit far away.
I point north, but we do see land. We know they don't live on the ice. They are still just men. They must live on that land.
Matt, to your eye, you would look and, from the land you can see, which you're not too close to yet, but you don't see anywhere these ships could have put out from yet. There is land and ice to the north, but it's not dead straight east to west, kind of not like you're heading towards a flat line, almost like an oblique. So you would guess those ships had to come from further to the northeast.
Past the obvious land in front of us.
Or along it,
I see. Okay.
further up it.
To the east makes more sense. The ice is thicker up there. To the east, it's a little more broken. Maybe land masses where you could hide ships, make port.
If only we could sink the bastards.
There's only 4 of us.
I understand. Couldn't reach them with magic, could you?
Not from here. A bit closer, perhaps.
There's too many of them.
You don't want to do a 4-on-200 combat?
Let's do it.
60, according to Keeler.
Each.
Mr. DM.
We're going to
Each.
infiltrate
Each.
the
Here.
boats. We're going to infiltrate the boats. There's going to be a whole side mission.
Yeah, let's make it another 5 sessions.
We're going to put on disguises, pretend to be part of their crew.
One shot at a monster, 27 episodes later.
Shows up with these little clay pointy ears on Adric and Avery. Hello, fellow tribesmen.
Hello, I'm an elf.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you wearing elf face?
Oh, no.
I dance around and act fancy. Isn't that what elves do? Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I feel so weak. Oh, shit, that's funny.
All right, so what are we doing here?
We're not fighting against the 200.
Okay.
I think we're sailing northeast by the sound of it. So we're going to skirt around the edge of that land, and
Mm-hmm.
I say perhaps we could camp on that land as we come around the edge. Be nice to stretch our legs.
As long as it isn't home of more of them.
All right. You continue to head to the northeast. You run out of light soon. You do make landfall.
As the sun dips below the horizon, I say, Hoffman, Avery, Keeler, well done. 3 raiding ships with about 200 men tells me he took the bait.
That much is clear.
This is precisely the type of advantage we need. Imagine trying to wade through all those men en route to him.
We would have had an army at our backs, yes,
Indeed.
but still.
Let's hope the men at Bransoon are enough.
They have the advantage of knowing they're coming and waiting.
But if we act fast, it might not even come to that.
Indeed.
If we remove whatever grasp this creature has on them, perhaps we avoid all that bloodshed entirely. But to do that, we will have to act fast. I look at Dr. Hoffman when I say that.
It's temptation.
Yes. Yes, act fast.
He starts rowing fast.
I say let's make camp on that shore.
All right.
Get some rest.
You dirt
That
bastard.
seems like an early break to me, yeah?
You make your way to shore. It's there is an island here, but it is there's a lot of ice around it. So you actually kind of have to pull the canoe up onto some ice. There seems to be some kind of flow that comes this way that's moving a lot of broken sea ice further along, kind of in the direction that ship was heading in other directions south. But you get to some land relatively sparse here. There is some light vegetation barely pushing its way through the ice and snow. And you have some of the wood and the materials you have, and you make camp. You find some good natural cover, at least to kind of half protected cave. There's no polar bears in this one, and you rest. Anything unusual happening tonight? Or shall we carry on?
Hoffman takes Avery aside when people are collecting lumber or something and says, Avery, I can perhaps find him.
I know. I spoke to him, remember?
He,
Through you.
yes. He may be able to find us. If we do that, he may know that we're coming for him.
I see. Well, is it worth the risk?
I fear if we're not able to find him, destroy him, he will slaughter all those people on Bransoon.
I think you're right. I think this is what we have to do. But let us use every advantage we have. Let us be prepared when we reach out to him. Tell me about your vision. Do you think that you experienced what he was experiencing? Do you think that you were seeing through its eyes?
It was dreamlike after I woke, but as I thought about it, as I meditated on it, I think I was seeing what he saw.
Well,
And I think he can see what I see if he knows I'm looking. And if he knows how to get to me.
very well. Then he will know that we're coming, but let's make sure that he doesn't know where we are, how close or perhaps far away we are.
If you blind me and deafen me, perhaps he can't sense anything.
I cut out Hoffman's eyes.
Pour acid in his ears.
Good.
This is exactly what I wanted.
We never see Arcturlgrim. We just murder each other on the ice. We're all dead men.
He's
That's the
one.
true power of Arcturlgrim.
Arcturlgrim is just another term for snow madness.
He's a myth.
So do we think that the Arcturlgrim knows what we already know?
Probably not.
If he takes over Hoffman, is he gonna? I know you said blind and deafen you, but
Oh, like, does he know his, like, thoughts?
yeah,
and
like
memories?
if he'll know what Hoffman's, some of what Hoffman's known over the last 12 hours, like
We have no
we've
idea.
left the boat and traveled to a different island. You know what I mean? Or is it
don't
just immediate
Yeah.
senses?
We have no clue. We're making it all up.
you do know that from what you've experienced so far, you haven't experienced. Well, you're not sure, but you've experienced moments. Was it a memory? Was it current? You felt like it was happening.
Yeah.
Then
I say, in a very kind of non-Avery way, I say, we should talk to Adric and Keeler about this before we do anything.
All right.
If this is going to put us all at risk, it's best that we do it together.
is it as if on cue, Adric and Keeler come back into this rock overhang, dump some of this vine wood, and the rest of the supplies from your craft.
Adric and Keeler, we were just discussing the possibility of me trying to reach out to him, to locate him, to shorten our search.
As we saw at the village, it's clear that there is still some sort of connection between Dr. Hoffman and the Arcturlgrim. The doctor thinks that he can use that connection to somehow gain some knowledge about where it is, but he fears that in doing so, he will also be allowing the Arcturlgrim to find out more about perhaps where we are or what we're doing. It may ruin the element of surprise. Or worse, it may tell him and his followers exactly where we are.
I see. Adric looks to Keeler. What do you think?
I'm not sure. This is good, but the reason we risked my people's lives was for the surprise, yes? We do that now. Maybe
Getting those men on those boats that we saw yesterday, getting past them without a fight, it is a huge advantage. But I would hate to think that there was a chance that we give that advantage up. If Arcturlgrim can reach out to them and tell them to turn around, they're only a day behind us.
But if we do this, perhaps we can save all those people, all of your people in Bransoon. We can shorten our trip. We can find him quickly.
My fear is that our trip becomes one way. Even if we defeat the Arcturlgrim, there are 200 at our backs.
But I'll leave it up to you.
Keeler, Adric says. Powali's expedition, they're warriors. This plan sounds like it would be an attempt to prevent them from engaging this raiding party that we just witnessed to the west. Correct?
That wouldn't be the goal. The goal would be for Hoffman to try to learn where Arcturlgrim is. That redirecting them would be an unfortunate side effect.
I see.
in redirecting them towards us.
We're not even sure if we would redirect them, or if we would just warn Arcturlgrim. We really don't know, but we need to consider the dangers that we bring upon ourselves by trying to allow Hoffman to do this.
What do we know now? We know that we think he's somewhere north, perhaps a little to the east of us. We know that the raiding party is en route to meet Powali's expedition. We know that those people are outnumbered 4-1. How much time do they have before that raiding party arrives? Estimating boat travel is not my specialty. Do we know?
Between Hoffman and Keeler, map and practical knowledge, it's hard to say, but days, certainly.
Favorable winds and tides, maybe
That's a big...
2-3 days.
And you also, it depends, supposedly other tribes were sending groups as well. The village of Bransoon itself is there. Is it a village with their own people and warriors?
So as it stands, in a few days, those men will be in a very unfavorable battle. Our goal is to maybe, or our thought process, if I may, Hoffman, is to perhaps prevent that unfortunate situation from happening, at the same time gleaning information on the whereabouts of Arcturlgrim, correct?
Yes.
And we think if we give you the ichor, if we have it, that you can reach back out and perhaps with a little more control sense where you believe he may be. But you also think that then he will know where we are. It seems like a fair trade given the condition of the connection.
I'm not sure how much he'll be able to know, and I'm not sure how much I will know.
It seems like a safe assumption that if you can sense where he is, he can sense where you are.
One would think. But it may be that he's not paying attention. Maybe I am just a ping on his mind and some creature of his powers. Perhaps he is plucking on many threads at once, like a spider.
When you saw him before back in the village, was he underground? Was he in a cave of some sort?
Was he in stone?
You feel like he was.
It wasn't in water. It was definitely in some stone.
Then I wonder, what information could you gather? What do you think you can accomplish?
I don't know.
But you do think this is worth doing?
I don't want to be the one to make that determination. I'm worried that even my thought process here is being affected by him.
I see.
I would much rather you tell me if it's worth the risk.
I put my hand on Hoffman's shoulders. He's clearly shaken.
Yep.
I say, relax. Avery, walk with me.
Okay.
Keeler.
Hmm.
I walk away from Hoffman and let him rest.
He's like pacing.
You're tired.
Yeah.
I say,
Kind of sit down and
he's exhausted.
lean up against a tree or something.
He is. He's questioning his own decisions. He wonders if he's even in control of himself, or if the things that he suggests are ultimately Arcturlgrim's influence.
Whose idea was this?
He's known since he pounded his hands into those stones. He's known that he has this connection.
Right.
He came to me with the suggestion, but it's been something that's been on his mind since we left the village.
Seems suspicious to me, Avery.
Suspicious?
Insight's your strength. My instincts are ringing strong that sounding the alarm as to where we are could be a problem. But I suppose if the Arcturlgrim catches word that we're here, it doesn't mean he doesn't still think the shield is going to be in Bransoon. It doesn't mean
Correct.
he's going to turn his raider ships around. It just means he knows we're coming, and our entire subterfuge, the element of surprise, is gone.
Yes, but
Right.
his soldiers are gone as well. I think
Correct.
worst case scenario, he knows we are here, and he continues his zealots to Bransoon to fight my people. Best case, he turns them around, and your fear, Avery, comes true. It is one-way trip. But if one-way trip means killing Arcturlgrim, then it is worth it to me.
Right now, what we know is nothing. We are shooting arrows into the darkness and hoping to hit something.
Indeed.
We're making guesses about all of this. We don't know what he knows or what he will know. We don't even really know where we're going. What Hoffman can do, it offers us perhaps something more solid.
It's as much as a guess as anything, unless Hoffman truly believes he can sense where this beast is. I'm with Avery. I'm with Keeler in the sense that if Arcturlgrim is defeated and it's a one-way trip, I think that's something we all have to reconcile. What do you think, Avery?
I don't think I will ever understand what it means to be the thing that I set out to be.
Until today.
Nice.
Let's do this.
Lord of the Rings hand on shoulder. Other Lord of the Rings hand on Keeler's shoulder.
Tap foreheads.
Yeah, we break from our mound visit.
And we go kill Hoffman.
Can I?
We turn. Hey, we all draw swords and just start walking at him. He's like, "What the fuck? What happened? What did you guys talk about?"
May I suggest that all three of you guys get inspiration for that? I'd say Widmere, courage, the facing death, that this is one way. Avery, I'd say maybe 2, the self-doubt, but also the perceived as a hero. And Hoffman for the go beyond the norms.
Fucking love it.
Love it.
Going beyond.
Assistant DM to the rescue.
Does that get me one as well?
Here we go. You motherfucker, you! Don't ever go over my head again.
Keep my eye on you. Nice shit, though. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah.
That was great. So you guys are going to go forward with this?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. What do you do?
As we come back, as we're walking back, I just say to you, John, I say, Dr. Hoffman, we need to do this in a place where there is nothing around that he can recognize. If he's looking through your eyes, we don't want him to see the positions of the stars or any landmarks on this island. I suggest we try to do it in the boat, and we cover the boat with the sails.
All right. That makes sense. Yes. He gets in the boat. Keeler, I may need that bone that you gathered from the Veindietz village.
Yes. I'll give it out. You'll see that I have started a small carving into it.
I don't think I'll need the ichor this time.
I'm gonna pull off all the sails. Like, I imagine Avery probably has a little 20-foot sloop back in the harbor.
Yeah.
He's got some competency when it comes to sailing.
you imagine watching your servants set and
His parents sent
roll
him to
the
that little
sails.
sail, like that little sail training
little
thing.
Sailing camp.
Yeah.
He definitely went to sailing camp.
All right, yeah. Sailing, lacrosse. Got the main shit covered.
So
Would anybody like to play bocce?
he's pulling down the sails and basically tenting them on the the ship.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, and the ship is pulled up onto the ice. So you're making a little. The thought crosses your mind, Hoffman, as you get laid down into it. You're trying to remember which cultures send their dead off this way. Is your thought as you lay in the bottom of this canoe and the sails come over you and all is black. Right before Keeler passes the bone into you and you lie back.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Keeler gives you the bone.
Does he cast grease?
Okay.
I just spit on it.
All right.
Oh, good grief. Savages in the north. And you allow not sleep, but darkness to come. The three of you are gathered around, and your mind slips away, Hoffman. And suddenly, you are underwater, pushing forward, moving, speed, power. Feels natural under here. You see stone pass around you. Your head emerges, and you see you are under a mountain in a river of sorts. There's stone up to either side, stone over your head, and you're back under. Give me a charisma save.
Okay.
Damn.
Don't forget about your free 20.
Well, I have 5 inspiration right now.
Jesus.
I might want to burn some of
That's
those.
better.
I rolled a 1.
Burn all 5 of that inspiration.
No big deal. No big deal.
I don't even think it's worth spending. Well, I mean, I rolled a 1.
Definitely.
Yeah, a one is a one is a
The
one.
one is a 1.
One is a one is a one.
Suddenly, it's a strange feeling because you're suddenly looking back up at the sailcloth, but it's not your eyes looking at it. You lunge forward to push yourself free. Keeler, Avery, and Adric. Hoffman lunges, starts to spring up from the canoe.
I cast Globe of Darkness.
Fucking church steward over here.
What do you guys do?
I try to tackle him back down. Grapple his
springs
legs.
up as if attacking us.
He springs up, just like pushing the cloth off of him.
Oh.
Yeah, I try to grapple him down.
Okay, why don't you guys all, everybody make a, I guess, combined athletics, and I'm gonna say somebody's got to beat a 20, or he's at least gonna get the cloth off. But he's not getting away. The three of you are around him.
Whoever comes up first will have to make a wisdom saving throw as well. Of
Nice.
wisdom 13.
Okay.
Athletics, you say?
Yes. What do you say? What does the body of Hoffman say?
Flee.
Ooh. So how do you want to determine
Yay.
who's making the wisdom save?
Who do you say it to?
Keeler, as
Okay.
it comes closer.
Keeler, make a wisdom save. You with a
What was the DC?
13.
13.
Is that a fear thing? Does he have the amulet for that?
No, it's not fear.
That's
He has
11.
Mind control.
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Okay. Matt, you turn and run.
Oh, fuck.
Avery and Adric, give me athletics checks.
Athletics. Not remarkable athlete doesn't play a factor. That's fortunate.
What does that thing do?
It's called.
I know. It's fucking dumb. It's plus 2
Superstar
to any
athlete.
dex, strength, or con check that doesn't use proficiency, which this does.
Okay.
Sadly.
Yep. Roll them up, boys.
Go ahead, David.
Does that use a spell slot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use my packs.
We need. What do we need? We need a 20. I got a 15.
Dean?
This athletics check is the grapple portion. Well, whatever. This is the.
You're yes.
I have a 15.
Okay. You get a hold of him, but
Okay.
the cloth is pulled away.
I'll use an inspiration. I'll try.
Okay.
All right. Here we
To
go.
prevent this cloth being.
Let's try. Let's try. Let's see.
I have.
Here we go. Here we go.
I should.
I rolled a
use
5.
inspiration.
That makes it a 20.
Okay. He springs up. The cloth starts flying up. Adric, you think like a fighter. You just grab for his mass to control him.
Yep. Try to drag him down.
Avery, you kind of take a second. You realize the cloth is flying up, and you actually grab for the cloth to pull it back down. This voice, you see, it comes up just enough to see his mouth, and this voice come out. Flee! As Keeler runs.
What?
And you pull the cloth down, and he struggles against you, Dean.
Do you feel stronger than Hoffman?
Yes.
Great.
Grand.
Matt, give me another wisdom save, and John, give me now an opposed athletics check with Adric.
Sure.
Add 5 to whatever you normally would roll.
Okay. Well, it's normally a plus 0, so
nobody
it's great.
likes Josh that much.
That's a 15 or 17. Sorry.
20.
Remarkable.
Oh.
He's a
It's 13.
13. Okay. Matt, you suddenly stop and your head clears and you have no idea why you just ran. You turn, you're 50 feet away. You see Adric actually he has his arms wrapped around the figure of Hoffman, completely covered in the cloth, and he lunges. He gets out of the canoe, but Adric just controls his body and drives him to the ground.
Stop struggling, damn you!
The figure is just writhing on the ground.
I'll race back and try to throw my weight on top of him. I guess assist.
Okay.
Provide the help action.
And I'll just try to keep his head covered.
Okay. John, you can do that again if you want.
do the command.
Yep.
You don't really want to, do you?
You do.
Hoffman, are you in there? Hoffman, are you in there?
How about this one? How about let's throw this one on for size.
Son of a bitch. Let me chew up all your inspiration before you get to me. Son of a bastard.
I rolled a 1. I'm sorry. He like struggles against you, and you could just feel his skin start to get warm. And he goes, "You will burn." I cast Burning Hands on them.
Nice.
Whoa.
It's,
Nobody likes Hoffman much either.
yeah,
Come to
Dex-
find out.
Dex save of 13. It's a 15-foot cone.
You're gonna have disadvantage. Both Adric and Avery, and I'm sorry, Adric and Keeler, who are currently in this grapple, unless you release him.
Think you're clever?
You think it's smart?
Think you're clever over there? You think you don't want me to reach for my fireproof shield, you son of a bitch? Here's the thing I'm going to give you in a hole just out of reach.
Hey, you can reach it. You can reach it easy.
Don't make me break out my medium-sized hammer. 'Cause I will do it. All right. I'm not going to let go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on and reach for my my elixir and try to jam it into Hoffman's ass.
Okay. In the meantime, both you guys make a dex check with disadvantage.
Am I making this too?
What's Avery doing here? Is he
Hey, I'm just trying to keep the cloth over his head.
Then yes,
Okay.
all three of you guys.
But
And
only the grapplers have disadvantage.
yes,
Okay. So me.
12.
and Keeler, who was helping at the time when this started. All right, so that's a fail for Keeler. And John, you auto fail. You're going to take this too because you're wrapped up in this cloth.
It's 11 damage, half if you pass the Dex save.
That's how you roll with disadvantage, son. I only got a 13, but
I think that's what you needed, isn't it? No, what did you say?
13.
13.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
wow. rolled a 12 and a 19.
I failed. I took the full
Avery?
damage.
Okay.
I take how much?
Half, so 6.
Okay. Healer, you go for the elixir.
Yep.
All right, you grab a bolt, just a loose bolt, and you drive it into the elixir, and then through the sailcloth into Hoffman. Hoffman, your mind is suddenly ripped free. Give me a intelligence check. Save. I'm sorry.
That's
Can I use-
Oh, Johnny ones.
Using them up though. You're using up. There can't be many ones left in that motherfucker.
I in the
Johnny
go.
ones.
Yeah, 1. So
Okay. You are donkey brained.
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's in the condition listing. But effectively, you have no idea what just happened. You don't remember what you were trying to do. You're briefly confused about who's around you. So, not even get into the mechanics immediately. You're just completely confused.
Who are you? Get off me! Get off me!
He all,
Get off!
he all thinks you should flee. Fuck.
As the elixir comes forward and you hear Hoffman's voice now emerge, maybe you do let the sailcloth come away slowly as the fighting stills, and you see Hoffman sitting there looking a look you're not used to seeing on Hoffman's face, which is just pure confusion.
What?
Hoffman,
Where-
shake him.
Where am I?
It didn't work. Avery, your arm is burned. I'm missing some hair. God damn it.
Just use second wind.
Oh, right.
I sit down and rest, and my hair grows back like I'm fucking Lestat.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Just singed.
I'm very badly burned.
What are we doing here? I don't. What is this cloth? He just tries to, struggle and take the cloth off him,
And our sails are burned. Great. I kind of walk away.
Those were your sails. Yeah, I mean, you extinguished them pretty quickly, but they're not very sail-like.
I kick the boat and walk away.
It's okay, Hoffman. Here, take this. I'll pull out a piece of jerky from my pouch. Here, chew on this. It'll help you relax.
Oh, thank you. He takes it and chews on it idly.
I kind of explained it, but we'll say until this condition is gone, you have disadvantage on every mental check or save.
Cool.
No big deal. No big deal.
Would we say lesser restoration would be one disease or one condition afflicting him? It says
think
blind,
so.
deaf, and paralyzed or poisoned. It's not listed.
Does it say donkey brain?
It does not say donkey brain. That's why I'm asking.
Well, I guess not.
Would that be a greater restoration?
It's in the errata, actually. So, yes, that will do it, Matt.
All right. So as he sucks and chews on the jerky, I'll start, muttering some words and kind of massage his shoulders and kind of help him calm down and cast lesser restoration.
All right. It takes some time. John, you're still confused, but your senses start to come back around you. You don't have any memory of anything. You don't remember the water, nothing I described to you. The last thing you remember was lying in the boat, and you don't know what you gave up.
Did it work?
Did you tell it anything? Did you see anything?
I don't remember anything. I remember getting in the boat, and then waking up with the sail wrapped around. And
Did it see anything? Did it see where we are? It doesn't matter. It saw that we don't want it to know where we are. It'll assume that means we're not where it thinks we are.
I don't know, Avery. I'm sorry.
It is okay. You tried your best.
Takes courage to do what you did, Hoffman. Forget about it.
Yes.
I don't know why we thought we could match the mind of such a creature. Perhaps it was arrogant of me to think so. I don't think I could have done what you did.
Adric stands up and he looks towards the direction they're supposed to go.
This is where I'm going to put back in the audio of Jake saying, "Hey, you have that auto crit you can use." And John goes, "Don't worry about it. I got inspiration."
Johnny Wolf.
Probably not a super important role or anything.
No. Well, if I didn't roll double ones.
But our sails are burnt. We don't know where we're going. So I suppose we row north.
Indeed.
A very quiet night passes. You get the sense that Hoffman needs rest badly, so you divide the watch amongst the three of you without him, and each of you reflect on your situation, the unknowns even greater, the possibilities running through your mind of what could be happening, the warriors returning. What did Arcturlgrim find out? What did he learn from Hoffman, from his surroundings? What senses, what powers did he bring into that form? You can't stop thinking about what you're walking into if you can find it.
During Adric's watch, he thinks back on the scrum. He just sort of looks in the direction that they're going while his companions rest fitfully, and he thinks about grappling with Hoffman. Hoffman speaking with some demonic voice, Keeler fleeing, us burning. And then he just thinks back to when he stood 15 feet away from Hoffman and considered how big this thing is. And he doesn't feel great about it. But he's not going to share that with his companions. He's going to put on the leadership face.
Put on the game face.
I go down behind the rocks. My hand shakes and I go, like fucking Captain Miller.
Nice. All right.
During Keeler's watch, can I use primeval awareness?
Yeah. What does that do again? It's a ranger thing.
For 1 minute per level of the spell slot expended, you can sense whether the following types of creature are present within 1 mile of you, or within up to 6 miles if you are in your favorite terrain. Arctic. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. Doesn't reveal creature's location or number. But just if I can kind of get a sense if we're even close to it in 6 miles.
You are not.
Well, does he sense me? I'm undead.
You're picking one, so I'm assuming you were picking Arcturlgrim.
Yeah.
The other as the type that we've set for that. No, not within that distance.
So when we wake up in the morning, we'll need to fix the sails. He is not walkable. The coastline ahead, we can't travel for as far as he is.
You can tell?
Yes, the bone I gave Hoffman, it has a connection to him.
I see.
Not the same as him. I'm not, do not worry, I'm not like him. He's not in me, I guess. But
I don't worry about you, Keeler.
We're not going to get much wind out of those sails, and we don't really have anything to repair them with. We'll do the best we can, I suppose, but I think we're going to have to row.
There's some basic stuff. No ship would set out with some limited ability to do repairs.
We didn't bring one set of
Self-sufficient.
everything, only?
One sag.
One sag.
Adric,
So
I need your special tool to fix the sails. It is perfect size to make small
Are you looking for
nails
something-
work.
Are you looking for something a bit underwhelming and say sort of medium sized, not quite as
I guess
epic
this
as
will
I
do.
thought?
so you
I casually throw him the hammer since it doesn't matter if he catches it or not.
Bink, bink.
John, there's a shitty feeling as Hoffman looks over, and just multiple times throughout the night, the next day, you see your companions kind of gather to speak quickly, just out of earshot from you. They come back over and they, comfort you and whatever, but you feel an exclusion. You feel a distance from them. But you do put back out. Keeler makes some repairs to the sail, perhaps with Avery probably has a little bit of he sewed up some corsets in his day. And
I've been waiting for the Avery sewing joke.
they do some work as Keeler and Adric row. They get an approximation of the sail they had up, back going, and you spend the day pushing further to the north. It's cold, but the weather is decent, and you make good headway that day. Push on late into the evening, make camp, do the same again the next day. Matt, it is unusual. You're heading pretty far northeast. There's not as much ice as you would expect.
I think Arcturlgrim is affecting the snowpack. There should be more ice, open water. Should not be this far north. It should be frozen more.
Because of his heat? Because of his growing strength?
Yes. It would make sense, no? Also, Haval, their lands. They patrol edges of ice, wait for snow bears, seal. Nothing.
So is that another threat we need to be on the lookout for?
It's not, Matt, because you notice this change in the ecosystem that you had kind of started to think about. The clear signs of the population of those kind of creatures being absent from here.
Before I say yes, now, with it active, no. We worry about him.
If we can't find him, if we don't know where to go, I've had a thought of how we can get his attention. A last resort.
I look at Hoffman again, and I
No.
give you a concerned look.
Not Hoffman, but it certainly should be a last resort, because I think it gives up our strategic advantage of surprise.
What is this idea?
We sail to the nearest sister, and you plant the shield in the ground.
I see.
Surely that's something he would notice.
It would be quite a show, wouldn't it?
I do not know where the nearest sister is.
Well, that's the problem, yes. No one knows these lands. We've gone beyond the edge of the map.
I look to Hoffman and I say, and he can enjoy it. It's everything he's ever hoped for. To see stuff men and elves have never seen.
The only other thing I can think of, the only other avenue that we could pursue is this crystal, this blue crystal. If there were a way to find its power, Doctor? I kind of like snap him out of his trance.
Yes. The crystal. Well, if it is of a similar origin to the ones we wield, there is some resonance in the crystals. They can work together. But what I saw, I remember that, right?
Yes,
I
from the
remember,
previous
yeah.
one, yeah.
What I saw wasn't the same. It was a different color, but perhaps I might be able to fashion something using my own. I need to think on it. He kind of pulls out some scrolls.
Okay.
Starts like researching, going through Tathazine, how they interact with each other and that kind of thing. Just kind of thinking on it.
All right.
You said he didn't remember anything about that last encounter with Arcturlgrim. Does that include that preface of the being in the water, being in stone, being in water
Correct.
again? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing on that. Wipe it from your minds.
You work on that, Doctor. We'll row.
John, you know, it's kind of an unknown. You're not even sure. You think it was a tathazine. I mean, it's the only kind of crystal of power you've ever seen like that. It did look different. Your best thought. I'm going to give you some knowledge anyway. We'll do a D&D thing and make you roll, and we'll see how much. We'll do an Arcana check.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you something no matter what, but we'll see what you can kind of glean.
Should I just roll a 20?
Maybe not on this one.
Yeah. What's my Arcana?
It wasn't. He didn't roll a 1.
15.
Oh, adding a d6.
2d6.
Oh, one was a 6 though.
3, 9, 18. 24.
24.
Yeah.
Shit. You use a couple inspiration on that?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
We'll do something useful.
You think back on it, not what you've seen, but stories, things you've read about, that the tathazine, if they're not used to power things, if they're not used to direct their power, but instead, in their most potent form, they are used as the power source itself. That you think it could change its appearance like that. And you think what it is imbued with powers of cold. You don't know exactly what those are. You don't know if it's, it's definitely more than like a split window AC, but you don't know if it goes beyond that.
Right.
You also think that it's something that if there are other powers, they would have to be wielded. It might have imbued things. Other things would need to be called upon. You think if you got close to it, you could probably use your crystal to try to find that, but you don't know what that closeness is. You've never encountered an item, a crystal powered like that. You don't know if it's miles away or feet away. You just know that there is going to be a field that you could detect.
Avery, from what I can remember and going through my notes, there is something about that crystal. It's unlike the way we use them, where we power things, objects, mechanics. It's itself emitting a power of cold. But perhaps I know I can make something, and I can use my crystal to find or know if it is close. But I don't know how long of a distance that could be. These are all theories. We never encountered anything like it. So,
and with a 24, I would add that someone to try to wield it could theoretically be you. You don't know exactly how, but you think, you've used these crystals before. It's possible.
And what's more, thinking on that crystal, thinking on the power it had, if someone trained in the use of the magics of the Elder were able to get to it, I think that person could wield the power in that crystal.
Why then hasn't Arcturlgrim already tried to wield it?
Perhaps he is. Perhaps the cold being emitted from it is simply him using the power to ensure he doesn't destroy himself.
Could the crystal be destroyed?
Kind of scoffs. It can be subdivided. Well, at least Tathazine can. You can see on your armor or arms and weapons, I was able to reduce the size and use bits and pieces here and there. This, I don't know. It might be imbued with some protection against that. It may need to be whole in order to function. It's an entirely new field of expertise. It's entirely unknown to us.
Have you seen this? Show him the hammer.
Is that a medium hammer?
1d4 says we found his weakness.
It's an exploding 1d4.
Oh,
So if you keep rolling fours,
damage.
It seems like the crystal's keeping him from devouring himself with his own power.
If I were able to get to it, I may be able to change that. And perhaps it will be warm enough that he'll destroy himself.
You mean you could make it so that the crystal emits heat instead of cold?
It's possible.
And perhaps the shield could protect us.
Yes.
You could turn the entire north into a sister.
That is the concern of what does it mean?
you are pretty certain, John, that changing the power of it could, theoretically be possible, would definitely take more effort than wielding
it as it is.
Yes, than trying to
Turning it
use
off
or
and on.
suppress its
Yeah.
existing powers.
Oh, so it like is kind of naturally inclined to do like
It's
one
it's
type
been
of
modified. It's basically what John's saying is that he's pretty sure that this is made into a thing right now.
I see.
He could take that
Okay.
power maybe and make it into a
Shift it.
different thing, but that's
That would
pretty
take effort,
involved.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But I could try to
So you
turn it
could
off.
potentially try to control it as it is now.
Maybe not
Dim
turn
it.
it into fire, but I could turn it off, reduce the power, maybe even suppress it entirely.
Even a tiny reduction could give us an advantage.
But the question is, if the fires are allowed to consume him, what does that mean?
If we fight him, then if we have the opportunity, we need to get you to this crystal if that's possible. I think you should keep reading your notes and learn as much as you can. Prepare yourself for trying to harness such a thing.
Yes. And in the meantime, I'll create a device. At least we'll be able to know if we're close. How close, like I said, I'm not sure, but at least it'll give us some indication. Maybe with Keeler's knowledge, we'll be able to pinpoint where that is.
Are the crystals? Would they lead to each other?
In a small sense, they do occasionally. The resonance of them, you can measure it. It's based on a tonality, and he starts going into the scientific, like paper-based definition of how the crystals can be used.
Here, read my thesis.
Yeah, used to resonate against each other, and then by definition, find each other.
Okay,
So that's
just
a
let
yes.
him talk.
Andrew says.
Yes, theoretically.
Okay, Jordy. You have 24 hours.
I need 36.
Now you've got 12, damn it.
All right. The morning comes and you once again set to sea. The third day since the encounter with Arcturl Hoffman. And you keep heading north. Matt, something is becoming apparent to you. It's getting warmer. And not just the air around you, but everything. You see, more algae and seaweed. You see that the ice is weaker around the islands than it should be. You see bare stone in many places, which should not happen. Not here, not now, in this time of year.
This is all very concerning. He has changed everything here.
What do you mean?
There is no ice. Stone should be feet of snow.
To the rest of you guys, it's still fucking cold and there's still snow and ice everywhere.
But we're not dying, so isn't this a good thing? Right? We don't have the same insight.
The water, it flows. We should be on foot here. Not in this.
Yes, I suppose we expected it to get colder as we got closer. Does this mean that he's changed it, or does it mean that we're going the wrong direction?
No, I think we are getting closer.
You make for land now, pulling directly up onto stone. As you pull your canoe up, you see green growth along the shore, and set out to find an area to make camp. This is, there's still this island kind of rolls into more ice to the west. There's some high ground, and you make your way. Maybe Keeler goes first, and he gets to the crest, and you see him drop to his belly, and then on alert come back down. All right, Matt, I'm going to send you a nastygram with just a little bit of detail. If you, I'll describe it in full if you guys clamber back up there.
Well, obviously, if
I'm
we
gonna-
see him... Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go down. Quick, come close, quiet. I'm gonna first cast Pass Without a Trace on all of us.
Okay. You gather around. Keeler does as he's done before. Gives you this incantation. Your footfalls now come almost silent as you make your way back up the slope of this hill. Drop below the military crest. So your silhouettes don't
No
break.
skylining?
And slowly find some crevices to kind of each crawl to and look over. And what you see in the distance catches all your breath. The ground rolls back low, and then it's broken ahead by a river. Behind that river is a mountain, mighty triangular mountain reaching up into the sky, steam rising from the top. But along the banks of the river, you see crops, fields growing. You see the tiny ant-like silhouettes of people moving about it. You see along the walls of the base of the mountain, caves, people coming in and out of. You see hundreds of people, a village, and an oasis of life in this barren land.
What?
And a mountain, the silhouette immediately brings you back to a crest that you have seen a brand far too many times.
They weren't looted and slaughtered. They simply relocated. What is going on here?
You think this is the Veindietz?
And any of the others that are following?
I think this is their camp, the Zealots.
This isn't just a war camp. This is a village.
Matt, it's hard to hear the words, but it's unmistakable. I mean, these, you can't tell skin tone, but these are your people. You can tell from the way the fields are tended, laid out, the construction of some of the cave-side homes and some of the structures alongside here. You definitely don't see hundreds of people, but you see a village that should support hundreds.
We must get closer. Find out who they are. What village. What people. This is impossible.
We need to get around them. We need to get into the mountain.
I think Avery was right. They were afflicted by Arcturlgrim, and they walked away.
Don't you remember the first captive we had? He wasn't controlled. He was simply convinced. These people
see.
have been convinced by the Arcturlgrim that this is the way.
And they flourish. Why not believe him? Look, they have crops, they have homes, they have safety, they have warmth.
I look.
Of course they'll believe him.
Adric looks towards Keeler and says, "This change in the weather which seemed gradual to us clearly has not been to them. Crops don't grow in hours, do they? His power's been growing for a long time."
You can look around kind of in a great sweep, and in the distance in each direction you see snow and ice, but for this area, this valley under this mountain, this river that seems to flow past or through the mountain, it's a different terrain, and it clearly has influenced beyond this as the warm waters flow south, and the air carries with it.
This may be where that raiding party came from. This may be their families.
Yeah.
Speak as you say that, you kind of continue to take in the looks, and you see what appear to be docks or jetties, stone jetties. There's not much in the way of tree growth here. It's very green and vibrant, but nothing you see that is probably more than a year old as far as living growth. But you see multiple smaller, nothing big. You don't see any large longships, but you see jetties where they would fit.
So a year ago, he destroys a village, and they've been here for a year. It's not a coincidence.
Those who don't fight him come with him. They pack all of their things. They take everything. They relocate their village. Those who refuse to follow him, they die.
They have their skulls split by heat.
As we saw, there were not that many bodies.
They surrendered rather quickly, Avery.
But if it hadn't been for the conversation that I had with Arcturlgrim, with Dr. Hoffman in the village when it possessed you, if it hadn't been for that, then I may question what we're doing here.
Yes.
You could look at this and you could think perhaps he is not as evil as we suspect. He didn't kill all of those villagers. He's given them a good life, yes?
Just the ones that resisted.
But it doesn't change what he said to me.
He wants to divide up the world.
He intends to kill all of the elves and half of the humans.
Adra considers the math.
And
What's
what
the elf to human
think-
life ratio?
So wait a moment.
you think in exchange he provides paradise for my people?
For any who would follow him.
What is?
Uh-oh.
I suddenly
does not sound so
crossbow
bad.
bolt hits Adric in the face. So Adric says, "What does he gain from them?"
Hands in the world, people who can go out and find the shield and find any other treasures that are needed for him to be reborn.
Very well.
He can't do it himself, obviously, or else he would have arisen from that mountain and found the shield.
So if he gets the shield and what he wants, does he let these people perish? I think they all die in a lake of fire.
More than likely.
John, you look back out. Give me a intelligence check.
A 1?
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Intelligence saving throw.
Yes.
22.
Okay. Something
24, actually.
jumps back into your mind that almost that was there. Like a memory resurfaces. Have you ever remembered a dream that was completely out of your mind
Yeah.
from several days before because something triggers it? You see where it almost seems like a branch of this river comes out of this mountain. The main river flows along it, but you see this feed and you look at it and you have a memory in another form of passing through there into there.
That river. Yes. I remember swimming in an underground river. He kind of points out to where the river kind of meets the
He's close,
mountain.
I say.
That's how he travels. That's how he gets into the mountain.
Do you think the river leads to his lair?
More than likely.
Then we take the river at night.
Can I pull out that bone and sit down and use primeval awareness again?
Yes. You do so. You see Keeler doing this back below the crest, and you feel the bone almost sear your hands, Matt. You don't drop it, but you feel just fire pulse through it. He's close, very close.
He is here. If you say you felt him travel through that, it is that mountain. I can sense it.
It may be difficult to take that river with a boat. Many of the underground rivers, they can go into places that don't have any air. I try to think back, remember that dream.
You have a recollection of coming up above the water.
Yeah.
And of seeing stone above the water too, not just overhead, but to the sides.
But he's like closing his eyes.
For a portion, at least.
Yeah. I think it is clear at least a bit. I mean, it's our only chance, only way in without going through this village.
Josh, do the villagers have any like boats on that river?
It's kind of this little village is kind of built along the banks of the river. And there's kind of jetties and boats along the mouth of the river and the sides. Nothing large, but there are canoes the size of yours. Some a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Nothing bigger than 30 feet.
Okay. I say, I think we wait till nightfall.
Indeed.
And we try to get into that river. I can get us one of those canoes. And then we try to sneak in under cover of darkness and avoid the villagers. I'm sure that they weren't left completely defenseless, and we don't want to fight
Of course.
at our rear.
Yes.
We don't want to run into the anvil that is Arcturlgrim with a hammer of them behind us.
We don't know how deep that river is, but we know it must be at least 15 feet in order for Arcturlgrim to clear it.
Indeed.
Assuming that he is as tall as he is wide.
How
I shrug.
how far away are we from the mountain?
Maybe half a mile. The base of it.
Same for about where that river enters the mountain, or the river comes
half
from
a mile
the
from that. The river where it kind of feeds into the sea here is about half the distance, quarter mile away, and then another quarter mile or so to where that enters the mountain.
I say we don't take canoe. They might notice a boat missing.
It's going to be hard to swim through that.
Yeah.
Hard for you guys with a split mail and half plate.
Dead of night.
I think we'll need the boat.
Okay.
The other option, it's hard without a perfect visual reference, but you could take the boat around the mouth of the river and then overland to where the river enters the mountain, kind of do an end around.
Skip it.
Like carry our boat, you mean?
No, you could take the boat out through the ocean, kind of going a little bit away, coming back around past where this mouth of the river is, and then come over land to where the river enters the mountain. It's not a guarantee they won't be seen either.
I feel like if they have guards, they'll be more apt to be watching the sea than their own river system.
Perhaps, unless they expect an attack. He may expect us. They may be watching where the river meets the...
This is true.
Right.
The encounter with Arcturlgrim didn't go quite as planned, did it?
I think we try to keep it as simple as we can, but I don't see us swimming through there quietly.
No. Or effectively.
I think we tried to steal a small boat. It may be noticed, but hopefully by then we will already be in his lair.
It looks like a place where people live. Are there children here, Keeler?
We are too far to see.
One canoe goes missing, kids run off playing, who knows? It's not a military asset.
If you think it is best to take the boat, we will get the boat.
You, knowing that this could be a very long night ahead of you, perhaps the last night for some or all of you, you rest as best you can, coming back down, keeping one watch up at the top of this crest, the rest of you trying as best you can fitfully to get some sleep. Adric, maybe with some luck, used to, not his first night going to sleep with knowing that he'll be entering combat. Looking around, Adric, you look over at Avery and you've seen men grow up around you in a short amount of time. And you kind of think back of what Avery looked like. Your memory flashes to walking off that dock in Bergenheim, his armor perfectly polished, ebony lacquer, gold trim, his rich fur cloak behind him. You look over the man now, his armor unornamented, but clean. He sits oiling it kind of unconsciously. And all of you wearing these furs of the north, your beards grown in thick, your skin a little bit more tanned and leathery. You think he might be ready. This is a different man than who set forth in the capital some over 2 months ago. And you take your rest as best you can. The wind shifts a bit, coming from the north now. Oddly, a warm wind. You can all feel it. And as the sun sets, you hear a sound carrying singing. Happy singing.
Happy singing. Guys, are we the baddies?
And we'll stop there, and we'll see you next week, I think, for one last time.
Not another one.
Thank you so much for listening. We love you. And we love you so much, we're going to ask you to do more things for us. A bunch of stuff, actually. How about you rate and review us over at Apple Podcasts? That would be really cool. Don't forget to visit us on the web at nastygrampod.com. And do me a favor, if you want to check out all the cute little pictures we put up, head over to Instagram, Nastygram RPG over on Instagram. We got the intro music by Wilhelm Scream, outro music by Creepin' Cadavers. Shout out to Scott Warboy Cummings on that one. We also have scores by Adrian von Ziegler. And of course, check out LibertyStreetGeek.net, which is hosted entirely by yours truly, with sometimes little appearances by Josh here, huh? Our little game master, our little DM sometimes shows up over there. Actually, he's there every other week on the X-Files podcast, so check that out. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
That's nasty.